All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a 1v1 on Arena. This should be a special one, and it is between two high-level players. We have Veleza. Veleza is known as probably top 10 player nowadays from Finland. Very good in all settings. And then you have Draken. He is good in all settings, but he's not quite up there, and he tends to play a lot of Arena. And he also likes to make a lot of bets with his Clown Legion member Dark Noob. And he must have lost another bet because his name was changed to Dark Noob is a Delight. I really wish I had the backstory for this one because I remember like 3 months ago it was the same thing. But they make bets and then Draken has to change his name to praise Dark Noob, which is hilarious. So I'm going to speed up through the Dark Age here because the action that you want to see and the things you want to see in this game is a bit later on. Arena, you start with stone walls, right? So it's the type of map where you're able to find out what composition is more capable than other maps. Because on more open maps, other factors matter early on. On this map, you're safe. So you can choose a strat, and you can go with it more frequently. And the Magyars are really, really strong. In fact, I'm going to ask you guys, which civilization do you think is better with their peak performance, okay? You have Mongols. Obviously, they have the hunt bonus and all that in early game. Forget about that for now. You have elite Mangudai, you've got Hussars with more HP, and you have really strong siege. Okay? Those are strong options. But then Magyars, they have recurve bow cav archers. Now, let's talk about recurve bow for a second, because recurve bow gives your cav archers +1 attack and +1 range. So they actually outrange the Mangudai. You outrange the Mangudai, and then you have Magyar Hussar. Magyar Hussar is a much better Hussar than just a regular Hussar that has a bonus against Siege. So it's an interesting matchup because, yeah, I mean, that Siege Onagers and the Rams are very terrifying, and you probably would want them, if you're Mongols, but will it work? We'll see. Also, yeah, good point from Tmatrix. Magyar Cav Archers have 2 Pierce Armor over the Mangudai. There was a game, guys, where it was Magyars versus Mongols, and it was a year and a half ago, and it was Leary versus somebody, and Leary was Magyars. And I never got to upload it to YouTube, but basically Leary went crazy with those Magyar Hussars and with the Cav Archers. By the way, I'm not going to go this fast for all this game, just like up until maybe 26 or 27 pop. We'll slow it back down. But for the sake of this game, just because I know that most of the talking points won't happen for a bit, we're just going to keep it like this. I don't know why Draken has so many Vils queued up. He's probably going to realize that and cancel some of them. But holy Vil queue right now. He's at 25 pop. I don't think he's going to really need to make that many villagers, and we'll just slow it down now. All right. So, I've noticed this build order from Veleza. This is fascinating. So, he has 650 wood right now. 650 wood. He only has 24 villagers. And what you want to do is you want to have a blacksmith and a market, and then you probably just want to boom. There are other options, like I think we're going to see a barracks for Dark Noob. The Dark Noob will probably try and compete with some military in the mid-game for relics, which is very, very common. But Veleza is going to have 800 wood, and I've never seen someone have this much wood with a fast castle at a high level. Like, my guess here is that he's going to have to sell some of that wood because he's going to be a little bit off the food count that he wants to go for. Now, the thing is, and I talked about this, is we're going to see horse collar for him. Interesting. All right, so he's just going to get the farms down with that wood so we can get the food. Makes sense. But yeah, a tricky thing to talk about on Arena is it worth it fighting for relics? If you watched my cast of Masters of Arena 5, was it 5? I think it was 5. The most recent one, which was a few months back, there were matchups where I was watching it and I was just like, relics don't matter here. Like, for example, Vikings as a Civ, 9 times out of 10, forget about relics. Because I don't think Vikings, if they have long-term gold income, is necessarily going to compete with other Civs. I think what matters for Vikings is really strong economy and doing a lot of damage in early Imperial Age. At least that's been the meta. Like Magyars, I could see them going for relics and playing a little bit, a little bit standard. But I could make an argument for Mongols if it's going to be a game where you just want to go for siege onagers and Mangadai and win fast, maybe you don't go for the relics. But it's funny because I was saying all that and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make sense to the people. I'm going to talk about this, and then it's going to make Veleza's decision look smart. And now he has a barracks. So I take it all back. I think Veleza is actually going to compete for the relics in some way. Because the barracks is up because we'll probably see a stable up or some other building. Interesting map for Veleza, actually. He's got the stone on the back here, but he seems to be expecting some pressure. He's kind of walled in towards the town center. I'm not sure if I like that, to be honest. I mean, I don't see Magyars ever going for a siege push in this situation, so that's a little weird. It's also really confusing to me he has the barracks and he hasn't done anything with it. So don't expect me to give you guys anything of value in this cast. I'm very confused when I'm looking at his eco. What is that T90 farm? Oh my god, I didn't know he was a fan. Alright. Well, here we have Mr. Draken. And this is standard. This right here is very strong. And this right here is why I actually don't like to play 1v1 Arena at a high level. Is because, in my experience, with rare exception, this is the play that happens every single game. Is scouts, maybe you get the light cav upgrade, you fight for relics, then you boom, then you go up towards them. I wish there would be a little bit more variety. But Veleza, he is going to go for variety, and it looks like he's just going to add some spears. He's going to add the TC, and he's going to add the TC, and yeah, he's going to boom. So the difference in approach is that one player will gain a Vil lead, in theory, and the other player will gain a relic lead, right? That's the whole idea. And it's especially tough when you're up against Magyars here, too, because Magyars get +1 attack. They get their melee upgrades free each age. So I think it's a good decision for Veleza to not go for scouts, because if he went for his own scouts, he'd be behind by 2 attack. All right, here he goes. He's going to try and tempt the scout to come in here. Scout thinks twice. And I think the scout spots the spears. And so 4 spearmen should do okay against a few scouts. I feel like if you've got 5 or 6 light cav, though, you could actually take the spears. I guess the best case scenario here for Veleza would be get maybe 2 relics. You're not investing as much into the relics, and you're faster to the town centers. Dark Noob sees this. Or not Dark Noob, sorry. Draken. He can't get angry at me because he keeps confusing me with the names. And he wants to go in here. He's going to go in for the monk. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't think that's worth it, actually. Losing 2 light cav. Then again, it is cheaper with Magyars. That's another bonus I forgot to bring up. So, honestly, it probably is. He's going to go in here. He's going to try and convert one of these spears. There's a lot of debate in the town and if they want the spearmen on their side because the spearmen just killed their friends. And Veleza says, yeah, whatever. That's fine. I'll just kill your monk now as well. And, I mean, so far, so good for Veleza, who does have the Vil lead. All right. Again, this is why, like, I know a lot of you guys out there are like, T90, it's fun to boom, blah, blah, blah. And I get that. Booming can be very satisfying. But strategically, once you get to like 2,200 plus on Arena, this is all you see. I think what they should do to change that is they should actually make the bases closer. And then you can have a little bit more aggression. Like siege pushes would work a little more frequently. Things like that. Which I think recent tournaments tried to do, to be honest. Biggest reason people hate Arena is just because I sit here sharing my opinions and oh my god, you're kidding me. Wow, what a sick start here for Velez. So, Veleza is able to trade against monks. No one has any relics yet, but a lot of monks have gone down. Now, we already have villagers on stone for Veleza, and he's going to use that stone to go for TC number 4. Because Mongols, while they do have the siege, while they do have the hussars and the Mangadai, it is incredibly expensive to make those things. So, he's just going to commit to 4 TCs. Meanwhile, at this point, you probably assumed or saw on the minimap, but we have Draken on 3 TCs. And the eco's looking very good. So, and Ducks in chat. I swear, Ducks hates on Arabia more than he plays the game. Duck says, while on Arabia, you don't always see some sort of scouts plus archers. No, sir. Ducks, at least you can... Okay, even if you were right on that comment, and we're not going to start this debate because woo, 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 we just saw woo, woo, woo. Even if you were correct with your logic, you can at least do a little bit more with it. You know, you can move stuff to different positions. I'm not an arena hater, I swear. I've just been light capped to death. 2 weeks ago, chat told me to unban arena, so I did. And I lost like 15 monks trying to get one relic, okay? So maybe some of my own experiences have formed my opinion. I don't even think that's an exaggeration. If you saw that game, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So, monks do take a while to convert the light calf. And what the... What? Hold on a second. Rewind. Hold on a second. Okay, so Velez is converting this light calf. And this 3 HP spearman's over here, and he hears about it. And he just offs himself. He just has a heart attack right there. I think what happened is Draken maybe thought the monk was going to switch his conversion over to the spearman or something. I don't know, but the light cap dies anyways, so the execution hasn't really been there for Draken. And we're going to have 2 relics and a 5th TC for Velez. What? Holy crap, man, that's crazy. Like, I think the highest amount of TCs you see with standard builds on Arena would probably be 4, and we're going to see 4 now for Draken. But man, this has been a really solid approach. So kind of breaking the meta that I was complaining about too. Just go with a few spearmen. And I think you're always happy if you get at least 2. Because a 3-2 relic difference is not that big a deal. 76 villagers at 24 minutes. This is ridiculous. As we do see that other town center. So, seems to me like we're going to see Manga die. Okay. That's pretty clear because of the stone count. It's a little more difficult to guess right now what we're going to see from Draken. I think what he should go for, as he's now going for a 5th TC. Okay, so he just is much later to all this, to be honest. But I think we should see Magyar Hussar combined with Cav Archers. Because Magyars lack in the siege department. So you need something that counters the siege from the Mongols, and that would be your Magyar Hussar. Now, if it gets to a certain stage, as we see a very passive castle for Velez, and I'll talk about that, but if it gets to a certain stage, and there's like 10 siege onagers, it's very difficult. So there's not really much you can do in those situations. We're going to see the spearmen here go in to attack some monks. These monks are just going to convert them back to the other side. They're like, you liked it here. You liked it here. Come back to us. Come back to us. And they'd rather die. And we're going to see the same thing here, I believe. Yep, okay. So that works out quite nicely there in the end for Draken. But it's not that big a deal, right? Spearmen will not be able to even kill the monk. All the monks are standing next to each other. And they go their separate ways. They agree to disagree. If only humans were more like this. You don't always have to worship the same god. You don't have to like the same game. You don't have to like the same toppings on your pizza. But just agree to disagree and walk away. No one needs to die. Okay? No feelings need to get hurt. Okay, there's a stable. That stable is my guess anyways. For bloodlines and husbandry, which upgrade the Mangadai. And I think this is different nowadays. I think with the introduction of the Conic and maybe another unit, this is different. But for a while, Mongols and their Mangadai, it was, how do I word this? Mangadai, you needed more upgrades to upgrade Mangadai than any other units. And the Conic changed that because infantry upgrades affect the rider of the Conic, which is like kind of useless anyways. So let's talk about upgrades you need to make Mangadai insane. You need all the blacksmith upgrades with attack and defense. So that's 5 upgrades. Then you need bloodlines and husbandry from the stable for extra HP and for speed. Then you need thumb ring and Parthian tactics from the archery range. Then you need chemistry and ballistics from the university. And then, what am I missing? Oh, Elite Mangadai. So that's like, what, 9, 10, 11 upgrades? Something like that? It's a lot of upgrades, but Mangadai are sick once you get them. Man, this eco for Velez is sick as well. 121 vills on the way to the Imperial Age. We're going to head out here for this stone. I really like how he made these two castles defensive, because there is a world where maybe if this game drags on and Draken takes position, that he could treb down any castles that are out here. I probably would have not have done that. I probably would have made my castles here. So that's really unique. Well, Draken's going to know what's up here. And Draken quite simply is behind when it comes to the boom. But he invested more. He went for the stable. He went for the light cav upgrade. And he's going to go for those cav archers. So we talked about it. Recurve bow cav archers have more range and more attack and more pierce armor than a Mangudai. But Mangudai also fire faster, and Mangudai have a bonus against siege. Actually, let's see. Elite Mangudai, 8+4, right? I think it's 8+4. Yeah, 8+4, and then I think it's 7+5 for the cav archers when the cav archer upgrades come in. So the attack's actually similar. It just would be the range. It's 8 range for the Magyar cav archers, and it's 7 range for the Mangudai. All right. So here comes some of those upgrades I talked about. They're on the way. We have 2 castles right now for Velez. He's going to go for castle number 3. And he's also making a siege workshop. Now, if you add up the cost of getting the upgrades for Mangudai and making the Mangudai and then trying to go for siege, it is incredibly expensive. Because we have a very defensive castle here for Draken. And he's probably going to click recurve bow when he has the wood for it. This upgrade's always pretty tricky to get because you already are using a lot of wood for your cav archers. And also for the ranges. And I think it's something like 600 wood and 500 gold for recurve bow. But yeah, the pressure's on right now for Draken. But he does know that he has 3 relics. And if this goes late, it will be tough for Mongols to be able to consistently make things like siege. But the reason you guys need to see this game is because this is just insane firepower, right? Like, there's matchups where you see, oh, okay, there's some attacks. Oh, some units died. But no, there's insane firepower on the map, and big mistake there from Draken. I don't know why he's moving out just yet. He's still very far behind on his upgrades. I think moving out before recurve bow was a mistake. And the Mangudai are fully upgraded now. I think, actually, no, they're just missing that upgrade there. But yeah, recurve bow is on the way. And also, heavy cav archer is something that we should mention. Heavy cav archer is also available, which isn't cheap. Heavy cav archer is definitely not a cheap upgrade. I actually forget heavy cav archer exists. We just don't see it that frequently. The meta is very much to mix in hussar. Because, like, heavy cav archer doesn't give you that big of a boost for spending 900 food and 500 gold. So the meta is usually to mix in hussar with that food in most games. So we have Onager on the way for Veleza. 140 villagers. He pretty much stopped there. And I think Draken is making a mistake here. I see 3 stables. I think he's going to try and go regular hussar. I think if you try and go regular hussar, you don't have a great counter for the siege. But I could be wrong. Heavy cav archer is in now. 7+5, 80 HP, +1 range over the Mangudai. It's 24 army versus 48. So the numbers are a big problem right now for Draken as well. Velez has done such a good job. Like, he has to produce his range units out of castles. And he has this many. Also, he has really done a good job taking the extra resources. All right, so the other thing for Mongols is that there's drill. Drill makes your siege faster. So siege onager's on the way. This guy has the ideal Mongol comp, or will have it at 38 or 39 minutes. And then drill makes your siege speedy. But it's just so rare you see the Mongols get to this position. Here comes an engagement, and these units will melt. Again, like, hussars are probably there to snipe siege. Maybe provide some sort of a meat shield. At least the armor upgrade is in right now for Draken as he's trying to catch up. And I think he saw the vills were there. And he now is just going to drop a castle. Wow. Okay, so now the army counts are looking more similar. And this probably has to do with the fact that Draken has been producing out of ranges. So it's easier for him to up his numbers because he's not producing out of castles. That would also apply to, you know, the stables, which could be an argument for making regular Hussar. So, okay. And I think this has kind of dawned on Draken now. Like, hey, we can't let him take any extra resources. He's probably going to see this and be upset that all that stone's gone, but he will kill those Vills. Siege Onager will be in 30 seconds, and we now have the Light Cav upgrade. So what I would have done is I would have gone for Light Cav and Mangudai first. And then I probably would have never been able to afford Siege Onager. But this madman has gone directly for Siege Onager, and look how fast they are. Still has the food as well, and here comes Draken. I don't know if he knows about the Siege Onager yet. Now he does, and oh god. The ultimate Mongol Death Ball. And I don't think it's fair to say that it's the ultimate Magyar Death Ball because there's no Magyar Hussar, excuse me. But it's pretty close, as he's now going to go for Elite Magyar Hussar. Okay, there we go. Then you want to get the upgrade Corvinian Army, which means your Magyar Hussar don't cost gold. It's kind of a weird upgrade to have in the game, because I feel like no one will ever make Magyar Hussar without that upgrade anyways, so, like, why does it even exist? Oh! And the regular Hussars go in. They do not have a bonus, though. They don't have a bonus when they hit. So if they hit, they're not going to do as much damage as they need to, and that is going to be tough to deal with now. Oh, boy. Siege Ram is now on the way as well. And, like, how do you kill this? If you dive with Hussars, even if it's Magyar Hussars, you need to accept that all those Hussars are going to die. But it's only a unit that costs food, so it's not the biggest deal to throw away if you can take out some of the Siege Onagers. Okay, we're going to see a big fight here. Remember, these Cav Archers are very tanky, very rangy, as you see some dicey micro there from Draken, but I think that's probably worth it. It's just, can he do it again? Here come the Hussars, and the Hussars are just melting. Full upgrades, just melting. Someone says I'd just give up if I saw that. Right? It's crazy. And here Draken's like, well, I got relics and everything. I'm 3-2 on relics. He is now making Magyar Hussar. I think the problem is he hasn't really put himself in a position where he's comfortable fighting yet. He's bracing himself for a big engagement, and now Valeza's going to switch sides on him. Such a good job from Valeza. He saw he was massing up, and he's not going to give this guy a chance to react and a chance to take a good fight. Okay, here we go. Siege Onagers do miss there. Magyar Hussar are now in the mix. Big attack round. Valeza kills some of his own units with that. Like, quite a few of his own units with that. And now we'll see the difference. The Magyar Hussar will actually get some kills here, and some of the Cav Archers will as well. 180 pop for both, but you have to respect the Siege Onagers, and you still have to address the Siege Rams. Speedy Siege Rams. 60 military versus 50 military. Valeza's just got to be careful here. If Magyar Hussars come out, they're the real killer. Because I think if this is just Mangudai against Cav Archers, the Cav Archers can actually fare pretty well. He seems to be sending most of his army here. He really needs to get some army in here for these Rams right now, Draken. He's under so much pressure, and when you're under pressure, this can happen. The Magyar Hussars go in. They don't even get close. And a big shot there from the 3 Siege Onagers. This is crazy. And look at the KD, guys. Look at the KD. I mean, he's trying. He's doing his very best here. It's a 3-1 KD. The relics are now out of the monastery. And the Hussars can't even get close. There's only 3 Siege Onagers remaining, and that's like all that matters. And behind this, by the way, 7,000 food for Valeza because he hasn't been spending it. He's just been spending wood. And he's just been spending his gold. And if he has the stone, he'll make a castle. But this is just a stomp right here. So while Magyar Hussars exist, are they good enough? Boom! I'm not so sure they're good enough. Draken kind of limps in here, tries to get the kill. I think he realizes it's probably GG at this point. He's just angry at the Siege Onagers. And the domination continues. 250 kills, 90 deaths. You just can't stop this. I feel like if you're playing as the Mongols right now, you're also having the most amount of fun you can possibly have in a 1v1 Age of Empires game, right? It is so satisfying to watch this. And to play in this type of a position can't be any different. The firing speed of the Mangudai. The firing speed and the movement speed of the siege onagers and these rams, just incredible. And Draken, I actually thought was going to call it a moment ago. I was wrong. He's still backed up in his base. He still maybe has faith that those hussars could do something. It's going to be tricky from here as he's lost his relics, right? So that's like the one thing he fought for in the mid game. Can we talk about the castles everywhere for Veleza as well? He's got like 6 or 7 castles. You can see them on the mini-map. I think Veleza didn't give him the time, guys, but I think as we see a massive onager shot again, I really think the only chance you have against Mongols is if you go for only elite Magyar Hussar. I think regular Hussars, as we see the well played there from Draken, regular Hussars are just a complete waste. In a 47 game time game, I try and say minute game, but I think it's confusing for people that don't know Age of Empires time is faster. Anyways, I botched that one. But in a relatively short game for Arena, Veleza has 304 kills and 96 deaths. And some of those deaths were actually units that he killed. He actually, if you do the math there, this doesn't quite add up because he killed some of his own units. You zoom out, he's looking at 6 castles at the end of the game. He was going to mix in the Hussars as well. He could have continued to make Mangudai and continued to make Siege. A Paladin can also work. I don't know. I don't think Paladin works. I think Paladin will not work because you can't afford Paladin if you go for Cav Archer. I think Paladin's a big mistake. At least at this level, Paladin's probably dies. But truthfully, while we could say that this is the power of the Mongols, and it is, I think Veleza just outplayed Draken with the aspects that you need in this type of a matchup. He outboomed the guy. He didn't have as much food long term, but if you think about when he brought in resources, he was just ahead. And he invested less into the mid game, so he just had the Spearman. He was able to get some relics anyways. The KD is really why I wanted to show you guys this game, because it was incredible KD-wise, but the execution for Veleza was very, very good. There is a world where Magyars can push that, but not if it happens that soon. If there's a couple more minutes in it, then maybe Draken can get more on the map. Might have something to do that Veleza is a pretty good player and pretty freaking fast. As you can see there with the APM. And sometimes, you know, there's games where I need to show you strategy. There's games where I want to show you certain units. And then there's games I just want to show you satisfying fights. And that was one of them. So, not that I'm just going to be uploading massive Siege Onager shots to my channel all the time. But I feel like that one is definitely one the channel deserves.